On a Saturday evening. First and foremost, I hope everybody, whether you're with somebody or not with somebody, I hope you had a fantastic Valentine's Day. Day to be with your loved ones, embrace your loved ones, understand what being in love is all about. I had a fantastic one. Late. Robin and I had reservations at a fantastic restaurant in Fort Lauderdale called Chima. If you ever make it to Fort Lauderdale, Chima needs to be on your list. Unfortunately, they didn't have any tables available until 9:15. And then they did the whole Seinfeld thing. I have a reservation, but you're supposed to keep the reservation, and we didn't get seated until 10 o'clock, which is usually, getting close to the bedtime. And then it's about 45 minutes away from where we are in Boca. So we I got her a nice limo, we drove down, or I didn't drive, I just sat there and watched the guy drive, had a great time getting down there. Eventually we got sat, had a fantastic meal. I mean, it's one of the best restaurants, I think, in South Florida. And we had a fantastic meal, and got home. By the time, we got home and, went outside by the pool and hung out for a while. I didn't even get to bed until 2-ish, which is way past Barry's bedtime. Barry likes to be in bed a lot earlier than that. But in any event, I hope you guys all had a fantastic Valentine's Day. See, what I try to do with Robin is have a Valentine's Day weekend. I don't like to, confine it to one day. So, I give her presents, and we went out to dinner, and then today just wanted to relax with the pool. Didn't plan on even doing a show. I was like, you know what? Number one, I'm tired. Number two, I've been running around all day. Went and got the rest of that hair that's sitting up there, got that cut, got a shave, got everything looking good, and then we just relaxed. And I was just gonna chill. And then she comes to me at about 5:30. She goes, "You see what's happening on X?" And I'm like, "No. People are looking for you." I'm like, "Okay, let me go ahead and produce a show, put something together." And here we are. So, welcome. It's one of those things where there is no slow news day when you're covering President Trump and this new administration. It's just a matter of what's relevant, what do you want to talk about, what do you want to build a show around, and so you just have to find which ones are there. So the title of this show is Trump Weekend Briefing, More Winning and More Lefties Losing It. Excuse me. But the thing with it is, there's also lefties who I'm going to show you are now understanding we need to change this up. Something's just not quite right. We're getting ourselves in trouble. But without further ado, let's look at some of the nuts, and there are some nuts.
Come on, Public Enemy. I came to tell white supremacists. I came to tell MAGA. I came to tell white privilege. We coming, we coming, we coming. We coming, we coming. God said, when you give me glory, I'm going to run them out of the State Department. If you give me glory, I'm going to run them out of Congress and run them out of Senate. If you give me glory, I'm going to run them off of your job and run them off of your classroom. I need you to take your neighbor's hand and say, neighbor, we got to shout like we got faith.
I'm hoping tomorrow, being Sunday, that you don't go to a church like that. Oh my God. That's from the stage, also known as the pulpit. That preacher in Atlanta, I believe, was spewing that idiocy. And then what really got me, because, you figure one person could be kind of stupid, but I'm looking at the whole congregation. Oh, yeah. Tell them, brother. Tell them. The white supremacists and Elon. TDS is real. TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome, is real. It has infected so many people in this country. And I'm telling you, let me be the first to tell you, there are so many people who are never coming back to normal. They can't even see normal on the horizon. They don't even know where that exit is off the Cray Cray Highway. They're done. They are completely done. I don't know what's going to happen to these people, but they've been whipped into a frenzy. They've gotten to the point where they don't know right from wrong, left from right, man from woman. They're done. And they bought into this ideology 150%, and there's no coming back. Understand, there may be some friends, there may be some family members, and outside the hand of God turning some of these people around, they are never coming back. Normal is an exit on the highway they passed a long time ago. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself as you watch this here, that these people, seriously, they are never coming back. Never.
Well, I'm struggling here a little bit, so maybe some of our really smart viewers can help us untangle a little bit. It's really tangled now because no one knows where to land. It's all too incomprehensible. We're getting overwhelmed. And things that we thought that would kill a political career, that would be poisonous for whatever reason, this guy keeps trugging along.
It's, let me check here, February 15th, 2025 at 8:10 p.m. A real, 3 months, November, December, January, almost 3 months since the election. 2 months. 2 months. Almost 2 months. And they still can't figure it out. He just keeps chugging along. He just keeps doing this stuff. How are you still surprised? And that's a guy who I'm pretty sure many people in Democrat circles find him intelligent. And he can't figure it out. How is it happening? Oh my God, he's throwing so much at us. Oh yeah, you weren't ready for it. Neither was this witch.
Balances! Save checks and balances! Save checks and balances!
And as attorneys general, we're not going to bow to the president or to Elon Musk. It's important that individuals understand that right now Elon Musk is untethered to any accountability at all. And the fact is that they would like for us to engage in an ideological litmus test. And that's why they've paused funds. That's why they have freezed Social Security and veterans payments, and payments to the state of New York and to states all across this nation. It is unacceptable, unconstitutional, ultra-vires. They have exceeded their authority. And so it's important that attorneys general representing our respective states stand up.
She's mad. What, you mad, bro? She's pissed off. Oh, of course, as usual, nobody mentions what's actually happening. Nobody ever mentions, the theft. Nobody ever mentions the grift. They just pissed off because the money train has ended. And now it seems some of the judges are beginning to say, yeah, he can do this. Yeah, he's the president. And so what I think the strategy is right now for Donald Trump and his team is just to wait until more judges say something. Don't do anything. In order for them to enforce anything, good luck with that. Like I've told you, they would have to call the U.S. Marshals. The U.S. Marshals are under the auspices and control of Pam Bondi. So nothing's going to happen. And then you're going to have to file some paperwork and see what happens in 30, 60, 90 days. So Trump can just, I plan on complying, but I'm really busy. I'm doing all this stuff. And other people are doing some stuff. So we're going to get there. And so they know he knows the game at this point because you played it against him. You played it against the American people. And now you're seeing the result. We all know your game. And we all know he's in charge and you're not. And they're wicked, absolutely wicked.
And enforce the rule of law, because Elon Musk, individuals at the Treasury, the President of these United States, is not above the law. And we will continue. You know, as attorneys general, we've been preparing for this. This is not the outcome that we wanted. We wanted to cooperate. But when you challenge the 14th Amendment, birthright citizenship, we acted. And we got a TRO. When you challenge the NIH, individuals who are engaging in research to find a cure to cancer, to find a cure to a cardiac disease, we got a TRO. Funding, when you pause the funding of countless number of agencies, Meals on Wheels, veteran services, law enforcement grants, we got a TRO.
How's that working out? I would just ask her, how's that working out? You can just see the seething anger in her face. She's a relatively heavy melanated skin tone, but I bet you if you look close, she's turning red. Because they realize it at this point. They understand they're up against a formidable opponent who simply has no F's to give. I mean, you took shots at him. You, this very same person, tried to drag him through the mud and steal his property and steal $500 million away from him. All that. You think he forgot that? You think you're high on his list of people to talk to? Tishy. Not at all. Not at all. So now you got to basically deal with it. That's specifically what you're going to have to do. Deal with it, which is why she's so mad. She realizes right now she's been played.
And we're not finished yet. So we're going to march into court each and every time to uphold the law, to uphold the Constitution, and let the president and Elon Musk and his minions know that you cannot restructure our government. This is not a unilateral form of government. Congress is a co-equal branch of government, and the separation of powers requires that you get consent of the United States Congress, and we are confident today that we will get a preliminary injunction. Any questions?
Yes. Since you asked, Miss Letitia, you know, he can do executive orders, right? He doesn't need consent of Congress. And we're about to see these judges be ushered away and made to be complete buffoons. The problem is they know they are backed against the wall, as much so as backed into a corner, and there's no way for them to get out of this, because the only way forward is to have these judges do these ridiculous orders. But if Trump doesn't do anything about these orders and just lets it sit on his desk, you're done. There is literally nothing you can do. And I hope all of you understand that. They can go ahead and rubber stamp something and say this is what the judgment is and this is how it's going to be. But once that piece of paper leaves that judge's desk, there's nothing they can do. I mean, literally nothing. So every time you see one of these orders come out where some crazy judge in, you know, Upper Buffalo or something decides he's going to stop everything for the entire country, the thing you have to realize is, okay, you made an order. What are you going to do about it? Because at that point, it's all up to the paperwork. And you see how they're playing games with Kash Patel and slowing things down? Oh, Trump can slow this down to a crawl. An absolute crawl. And there's something else that President Trump can do I'm going to go into a little bit later, which is the Trump card. And I don't think anybody is even thinking about this Trump card that he still has left to play. Yesterday, I did an interview with the USAID whistleblower, Mark Moyer. And I asked him the question, I said, where are we in this process? Are we at the beginning of the onion peel? Or have we chopped it and we're like midway through? Or are we at the end and we're beginning to saute the onions? And he said, we are still at the beginning. There is still so much to come out. So much. The Democrats know that because they're the ones who have been stealing. Their entire ability to have a party has been based upon this labyrinth of NGOs and agencies and money flow. And now it's over. And I've told you also many times, this is now a racially agnostic subject. They can't rile up black people. That pastor in that church, good luck. That's about the extent of who you're going to rile up. You just don't have that kind of chutzpah anymore, because it's not about black, not about white, not about Hispanic. It's about green. Your parents, my parents, people who are not even here anymore, have passed on, worked their entire lives to provide for their families. And they believed in their government was doing the right thing. And on every April 15th, every single person I know, and basically every single person you know, faithfully paid their taxes, even though it hurt and they didn't want to, because that's what we were supposed to do. That's what we've been told to do. Every April 15th, if you don't get an extension, pay those taxes. And you counted on the government taking that money that they took from you and doing good things with it. It didn't matter what color you are. You're like, oh, man, I got to pay these damn taxes. And now, the problems that Democrats are having is people are seeing this. And you can't get away from the deluge that continues to come every single day, if not hour. It gets to a point where I even can't keep up. I'm like, my gosh, something else? Yep, here goes something else. When's it going to end? It seems as though the entirety of our government was nothing but one huge Ponzi scheme. That everyone you know, your relatives, your parents, your kids, have all been duped, have been stolen from. And so they're not going to get that rise up in the street that they're hoping for. Letitia James, you go out and do one of those press conferences and you're met with a handful of people, a handful of nuts. Because we all see it at this point. And every single day we see more. So their messaging is screwed. They don't have any messaging because they're not used to having to, face truth. For the last 7 years, everything they've said about Donald Trump has now been found to be a lie. All of it. So you've wasted all those weapons. There's nothing left. Took him to court, and then he tried to take him out. You got nothing left. And everybody can see it. His numbers are looking like a hockey stick at this point. But they're going to keep trying to lie.
To me, Ali, is that this is completely reflective and emblematic of what's going on in this administration. Although they're mouthing all these pieties about going out to find waste, fraud, and abuse, that is just an utter illusion and an irrelevant distraction from what's really going on. The whole administration is about promoting corruption.
Notice how this guy from MSNBC, and I know you don't have to watch this stuff, but notice how these guys just sit there quiet and just let them lie. People wonder why there's no credibility left in the media. None. Because you sit there and lie or allow other people. You don't even push back. So now this new messaging that Jamie Raskin is trying to float out there, which is insane, is that Trump and Elon are the corrupt ones. They're not trying to find any corruption. They're lying to you. They're the corrupt ones. Yet, unfortunately for Jamie Raskin, we see hundreds of billions and trillions that you guys have just completely wasted or stolen, and you have nothing but some ideological BS to spew on MSNBC, and you just got a host that just nods along because he's getting paid to do so.
The first thing they did was they got rid of 17 inspector generals in the federal departments and agencies. These are the anti-corruption fighters, and they have staffs of hundreds of people who are actually working to ferret out waste and corruption and self-dealing and bribery and abuse. And last year, they saved us $93 billion. Elon Musk hasn't saved us $93 in waste.
Elon Musk hasn't saved $93 because Elon Musk isn't in charge of the spigot. What he has exposed is what you people have stolen. I don't get these people on MSNBC who don't deal in truth whatsoever. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'll get more views on this video than are watching that show on MSNBC. So I don't know what good it does to him to run to MSNBC and say this crap. Again, you're talking to the worst of the worst. Your audience, Jamie, are the people who are never going to be normal ever again. These are communists, transformers, newcomers. I don't know who they are. But these are people who are whacked. People who can see with their own eyes and still don't understand what's happening. I don't know if it was because of the jabademic time and they were just told to do what the government said. Doesn't make any sense. Those of you guys who are into music, I'm going to take a little walk into music land here. Don't know how old you are or if you listen. I'm a rocker. I make no bones about it. I am a rocker. I absolutely loved the band Rage Against the Machine. I thought Tom Morello and the way he plays guitar is just completely innovative, amazing about sax vocals and the way he sings his songs. They're awesome. Going back to my concert promoter roots here. And I'm coming back from the barber and I'm on Sirius and Rage Against the Machine comes on and it was Bulls on Parade. And I'm listening to the song. And I'm thinking, and I'm jamming in the car, because I can listen to music without getting into somebody else's politics. And I'm listening to what he's saying in that song. And those of you who have heard that song, and I'm sure there's a few of you who have heard that song, are probably thinking to yourself, I won't do what you tell me. There's a little expletive before it. I won't do what you tell me. And he's talking about the government. I won't do what you tell me. You people are bad. You people are wrong. I'm not going to comply. I'm not going to do what you tell me. And then I realized it's 2025 and they should do a remake of that song for many of the people on the left and just say, I'm going to do what you tell me. Those of you who are my age or older, you remember the Peaceniks, the Grateful Dead, Jerry. you know what went on in the 60s and early 70s with the Peaceniks. And it was all about peace. Give peace a chance. And those same people, many of them, are now have been transformed, not the other kind of transformation, but transformed into doing everything the government says. I was talking to Robin today. I'm like, how did that happen? How did people who were so against everything that the Democrat Party is today become so brainwashed into now being those same people? Those very same people. It's amazing. I mean, somebody sometime is going to do a case study on how the flower children, the sex and love and drugs and everything was great, and we don't want to conform to the government, and we're not going to do what you tell us. We are the rebels of society, and you've become the lab rats of society. They have somehow morphed into being nothing more than, as I call them, orcs. They don't think for themselves. Maybe their brain cells got fried from all the dope back in the day. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I met so many musicians and used to talk to them and hear what they said. I saw somebody said something about Molly Hatchet. Used to do shows with Molly Hatchet, probably 5 to 10 a year with Molly Hatchet. went on tour with Molly Hatchet. And I remember having conversations with Danny Joe Brown. And these people, Foghat, Lonesome Dave, I've sat down with them. I know what they said, the words that they wrote. And I think to myself, what's happened? And I know I've become someone that they probably would, espouse. Wow, you're a Christian MAGA person? Yeah. Although I think Danny Joe would have been, eventually he would have been MAGA. Some of the songs he wrote, yeah, Gator Country. But you've watched the culture completely shift, and now what you're seeing, because people are seeing how bad the government has stiffed us, you're slowly starting to see the culture change, going back to what it used to be. And the problem is the Democrats have no answer for that. So they have to keep lying and trying to trick people, and what you see isn't true. We're going to keep fighting, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do... You ain't doing crap. You're not convincing anybody that you have any answers right now, and that's why Trump is kicking your butt up and down the street. He has become everything. You're going to see something in a second here, which I watched and I went, oh, that's the answer. That is, when I get to it, I'm going to show you. But let's continue with Jamie lying.
Fraud and abuse. What he's doing is firing people, civil service workers like air traffic controllers, like FBI agents who did their jobs with respect to the January 6th investigation, like food and drug safety inspectors. That's who they're going after. That's not corruption. That's not waste, fraud, and abuse. So that thing is a fraud.
Musk's X platform has given new life to Alex Jones.
All right, so this piece you're about to see is by Forbes. Forbes magazine, which, as far as I knew growing up and everything else, was about prosperity, was about how you could build wealth. And it showed us over the years, here are the things that, people who are wealthy, here's what they do. Somehow it has turned into some sort of societal analysis firm that tells you successful people are bad. And so they put this piece together about Elon Musk and focusing on Alex Jones. And I put this in here because I want you to pay real close attention to the BS, the over enhancement of the negative. And they do it so smoothly, but they don't realize people know. Here, let's listen.
Elon Musk says that his social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter, is a better source of information than the traditional news media. Musk boasts, quote, "I don't read the legacy media anymore." Musk asserts that X has become, quote, "the collective consciousness of humanity." Apparently, Musk believes that Alex Jones, who's the far-right pundit and conspiracy theorist best known for repeatedly claiming that the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting that killed 20 children and 6 adults was part of a government hoax. That he belongs in this collective consciousness.
Why wouldn't he belong in this collective consciousness? You see what they just did there and how easy they went into, you should be censored. Alex Jones should be censored. That's what he's saying right now. He's saying, why should this guy, Alex Jones, be allowed into this, stream of consciousness that X has become? At the same time, trying to tell you that X, because they are traditional media, that's one of their problems with X, is that you and I can talk on there and we are the media. They are not understanding it at all. This guy's not putting his face in this video. This is something he wrote down and he's reading. And he's putting graphics over it because he doesn't mean what he's saying. Someone has told him that, in my opinion. I mean, I'm just saying.
Since Musk reactivated the X accounts of Alex Jones and his misinformation-addled website InfoWars in December 2023, following a 5-year ban, Jones has thrived on X, growing his audience while also becoming a major booster of Musk's, according to an analysis by social media intelligence firm, the Social Studies Group. Jones's following on X has more than doubled from...
Is that a bad thing? I'm asking Forbes. You know, if they're gonna numbers they're gonna show you about Alex Jones's profile and his ability to, you know, get into that stream of consciousness, is that a bad thing? Or is it he's giving people what they want? Forbes, you lost the narrative. You've completely lost it. And so as you're talking about his numbers, you're not talking about your own numbers. Not at all.
About 1.8 million to over 3.9 million today, since Musk reinstated his accounts, while engagement has soared. In 2017, the last full year before he was banned, Jones received about 7.7 million mentions, including retweets and shares, across his personal and InfoWars accounts. Last year, Jones received 27 million mentions. This year, he's on pace to receive over 60 million mentions.
Where I come from, in advertising and in marketing, that would be called success. Being able to reach an audience of that size is success. That means that many people are interested in what he has to say. So that also should tell the people at Forbes, yeah, something has happened. You can't triple your audience, just that fast if people aren't interested. And so they're trying to find a way to go, this is fake, it's not real, it can't be happening. So what they're going to get into now is like, Elon's amplifying him. It's not you, not me watching any of his stuff. I mean, the guy has gone through a complete metamorphosis. They're showing old pictures of him when he was heavier. Looks like he's working out now. Looked like he might be taking a little of the tea. I'm not really sure, but he looks completely different, and he looks like a news host, and he's bringing information.
According to the Social Studies Group's analysis, the analysis shows that a majority of engagement that Jones receives is now through his personal account, which accounted for 89% of all his engagement on X last year between the two handles. Prior to being banned, most of Jones's engagement on then Twitter came through his InfoWars account. As his follower count has swelled, Jones has become one of Musk's biggest boosters on the platform. Between 2010 and 2018, Jones mentioned Musk just 31 times on Twitter, compared to 1,201 times in the 13 months since his reinstatement, again according to the Social Studies Group. Jones's support for Musk includes 2 tweets from December in which he defended Musk's pro-H-1B visa stance during a high-octane debate within MAGA circles, which pitted Musk against...
See, I told you back then, when all that crap was happening with Steve Bannon, the left was going to use it to drive a wedge. If you're going to do those type of things, understand they're waiting, they're drooling, they're hoping you say something negative, and they're going to use it on and on and on, even if you change. They're not mentioning now that Steve Bannon has pretty much quieted on that. They're just saying, he didn't like it.
Far-right thought leaders like Steve Bannon and Laura Loomer. Jones tweeted, quote, "Everyone bitching that Musk has flip-flopped is either ignorant or lying." He then added that Musk's critics are, quote, drama queens. In January alone, Musk has responded to 6 different posts from Jones, including one in which Jones wildly claimed that the Los Angeles fires were part of a, quote, larger globalist plot to wage economic warfare and deindustrialize the United States. Musk.
You may not like what Alex Jones says sometimes, but number one, he has a right to say it. Thankfully, there is something called X. Number 2, you want to refute it? It's easy to say it's a wild statement. Okay, it's wild. Refute it. Show him what evidence you have that may be wrong. That's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to basically go after Alex Jones and say that his engagement is unreal, staged, phony, manufactured, when I know personally a lot of people who watch his stuff. He has found a new home, a rebirth on X, and Elon loves it. Elon wants people producing content on X. That's what the left hates.
Responded, quote, true. Jones's success may in part be attributable to X's algorithm. Forbes has identified over 150 people on X who have posted tweets about Jones appearing in their feeds since October, a period during which Jones's follower count has grown by over 1 million. Most of these users expressed confusion or anger in their posts about why they were seeing Jones.
I want you to look at something, because I stop these videos and tell you because of the subliminal nature that the mainstream media and what they do. Notice they put black hands there. That's not by accident. I've been in marketing. Nothing is by accident. Nothing you see on television, nothing you see in any commercial is by accident. Every single commercial on television is designed to touch you in a certain way. It's the only way I can get you to buy my product. I have to show you something that the audience that I want to reach will align with. So in this instance, as they're talking about, oh, I think something's wrong with the algorithm because he's showing up in my feed and I don't want to see his stuff, they're implying through the visual that black people don't want to see Alex Jones's content. You can see it.
In their feeds.
Right there. I don't know why it's showing up in my feed.
Raising questions about whether X's algorithm is artificially boosting Jones to people who have not expressed interest in him or his brand of far-right conspiratorial politics. A few weeks ago, one person tweeted, quote, "Suddenly videos of Alex Jones are all over my feed. Is this happening to other people?" Dozens responded yes.
So understand what they just said there. One person tweeted that out, and then dozens said yes. I'm pretty sure that sample size, ain't worth crap. They've got nothing, absolutely nothing. So I was talking to you about, the Grateful Dead and old hippies and things of that nature. Well, in this video here, there's two things I want you to take a look at. Number one, the age of the protesters. And number two, how many protesters are there?
You! Stop the coup! Stop the coup! Stop the coup! The coup! Stop 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 the coup!
Could that be more pathetic? Could that be more revealing of the Democrats than they really want to show? You got about 20 people there, of all places, at a Tesla dealership. Excuse me. A dealership where people are buying cars that Elon Musk is nowhere near. And you're trying to sway these people from buying the car. All 20 of you. Maybe 25.
Stop the coup! Tesla! Boycott Tesla! Boycott Tesla! Boycott Tesla! Boycott! Stop the coup! Stop the coup! For the record! Out of the White House! Kick Musk! Out of the White House! Kick Musk! Out of the White House! You!
Dude, they're yelling at people shopping.
Dude! Hey, you! Don't buy a chump! Don't be...
The time has come.
And people are paying him no attention. I'm looking under the hood here. I'm looking about his car here, okay? Shut up. 20? Maybe 25? That's it? That's a protest? It's sad. But watch this, because this is going to show you a level of lefties losing it, a level of TDS, or now we can say EDS as well, that is completely off the charts. I mean, completely.
The UK and the EU to declare a state of war with the United States of America. Ever since the fascist takeover by Donald Trump, Doge and Elon Musk, America now represents a serious threat to democracy across the world, especially in the Western world. And by betraying Ukraine, Zelensky and the EU and leaving us at the mercy of Vladimir Putin, we have no choice now but to fight for freedom and democracy for all people all around the world. Now, of course, this is not a fight that's going to be easy to win. America is a very powerful country, but I will be the first to volunteer to fight for that cause, to fight that war, whether it's on the beaches of New York or the shores of the River Thames.
The beaches of New York? Oh my God. The dude just said the beaches of New York. Wow.
We must fight fascism wherever we see it, as nations, and stand as one, whether that's us without America in NATO fighting Donald Trump's armies, or whether that's fighting Vladimir Putin. If we don't take action now and stand for our values, stand for our liberal left-wing values, then I believe they will be under threat and possibly destroyed forever. Now, obviously, America is a nuclear-armed country, and that poses a serious challenge.
You think? Oh, by the way, my enemy, the enemy that I want to, declare war on, they're a nuclear power, and Donald Trump has the button, so that might be a problem. You think? You freaking moron! Bring it! You're over there across the ocean. You want? Bring it! We'd love to see some of you snowflakes try something. Oh yeah, that might be a problem. They're nuclear. Oh yeah. And I don't know if this is a dude or a chick, so I can't even tell you. But yeah, he wants to declare war on the United States, the most armed population in the world. In addition to being a nuclear power across an ocean, you want to say, let's declare war on the United States.
Sometimes you have to stand up and fight for what you believe in, no matter what the challenge is or what the consequences might be. Diplomatically, this will be very difficult, given our long-standing allyship with the United States. But sometimes allies do turn on each other, and times change. And you have to stand up for your values, no matter what.
I told you they're losing it. I told you they're losing it. I also told you most of these people are never, ever coming back. Say goodbye to family members and friends. Pray for them. May God put his hand upon them and say, wake up. Because absent that intervention by God, these people are done for. There's no way they're coming back. If you can sit there, number one, put your face on a camera and tell the world you're declaring war on the United States, you realize you just put your picture on a video and put it on TikTok saying you declare war on the United States. Good luck with that. Oh my God. Yeah, I saw that, and I'm glad I saw it before I just showed it to you, because I couldn't stop laughing. I could not stop laughing. These soy-filled mutants have no idea, none, what they're talking about. As evidenced by the fact that he said, yeah, I know they're a nuclear power, but, is there a way we can get around that? Oh, it's too much. I think my comment thing is working tonight. Yay! They need more fluoride and atrazine in their water. No. LOL. He's probably been living large on our money. I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, probably going through a transition. Biggest liar. I got my Social Security. She a sicko, wouldn't know the truth if she fell over, talking about Letitia. They need to put these nutty people in jail, or at minimum, an asylum. They are a danger to normal people. We can't just keep coddling these people as if it's no big deal. Oh, it's going to be okay. No. You are telling us you cannot assimilate in a normal society. You are at a point where you're willing to, quote, go to war with a country because of what? What exactly has changed in the last, 2 months? To the point where you're like, we gotta go to war. Oh, that's right. Ukraine. You see, again, back to the music thing where, Jerry and the guys on Haight Street and everything they did was anti-war. These people have suddenly become pro-war. We gotta keep fighting and giving Ukraine money. No, actually we don't. But we have to. No, we don't. Yeah, hopefully he's been added to the no-fly list. Yeah, once people start seeing him, he needs to be put on a terror watch list. Absolutely, they're dangerous. The world has been sucking off the teats of American people. Time to put a stop to it. I completely agree. Peto's panicking. Was that a man? Was that a man terrorist? He needs to be arrested immediately. I couldn't tell you. I was looking, and I really couldn't tell you. Guy is wearing his grandmother's glasses and only three chromosomes away from being a Sasquatch. Barry could not beat his way out of a wet paper sack. And they want to come for you. I gotta get over this nuclear power thing, but once I figure that part out, I should be good to go. Never mind your country, the police carry billy clubs, and our population is heavily armed. Unbelievable in terms of the nuttery, the absolute nuttery. All right, but unfortunately for them, now that we've got the lefties losing it portion of the show out, let's talk about how Trump again is beginning to flex muscle. And he's flexing muscle throughout the entirety of his administration. If you haven't seen this speech that J.D. Vance gave, I just have a couple sections of it, where he went over to Munich, Germany, talking to world leaders at this military conference, and looked them in the eye and said, new sheriff in town. What you're doing ain't gonna fly anymore. They freaked out. They completely freaked out. But everything he says right here is 100% spot on. And you can tell where America is headed. And he's letting the world know. I'm speaking for Trump, and this is what we're gonna do. And you people are losers. I mean, it's that strong. Listen to this.
And unfortunately, when I look at Europe today, it's sometimes not so clear what happened to some of the Cold War's winners. I look to Brussels, where EU commissars warn citizens that they intend to shut down social media during times of civil unrest the moment they spot what they've judged to be, quote, hateful content. Or to this very country, where police have carried out raids against citizens suspected of posting anti-feminist comments online as part of, quote, combating misogyny on the internet, a day of action. I look to Sweden, where 2 weeks ago the government convicted a Christian activist for participating in Koran burnings that resulted in his friend's murder. And as the judge in his case chillingly noted, Sweden's laws to supposedly protect free expression do not, in fact, grant, and I'm quoting, a free pass to do or say anything without risking offending the group that holds that belief. And perhaps most concerningly, I look to our very dear friends, the United Kingdom, where the backslide away from conscience rights has placed the basic liberties of religious Britons in particular in the crosshairs. A little over 2 years ago, the British government charged Adam Smith Connor, a 51-year-old physiotherapist and an Army veteran, with the heinous crime of standing 50 meters from an abortion clinic and silently praying for 3 minutes. Not obstructing anyone, not interacting with anyone, just silently praying on his own. And after British law enforcement spotted him and demanded to know what he was praying for, Adam replied simply, it was on behalf of the unborn son he and his former girlfriend had aborted years before. Now, the officers were not moved. Adam was found guilty of breaking the government's new buffer zones law, which criminalizes silent prayer and other actions that could influence a person's decision within 200 meters of an abortion facility. He was
Now, you just saw that crazy Englishman wanting to declare war on America. And J.D. Vance is talking to these people, and they are arresting and putting in jail people who have silent prayers. Not even standing on the corner saying, Our Father who art in heaven. No. The fact that it's Minority Report like. He just said a prayer in his head. We go arrest him. Let that sink in. These people were arrested for silently praying. Didn't say a word. Like most of us do sometimes. We may be in a meeting. Not the greatest time to just start talking to the Our Father or whatever. And so we'll say a prayer. Were you just praying? I'm sorry. I think you had some thoughts that weren't right. So, were you thinking about praying for this stuff? Oh, yeah. And of course, people are like, I can pray in my mind, can't I? Nope. Handcuffs, go to jail. And you think you're going to declare war on a country because you're afraid of thought? A thought can cause somebody so much discomfort. A thought that you don't know about. The fact that I'm standing here. I may have my hands this way. And the fact that I'm standing here. What are you doing? I'm praying. What are you praying about? I'm praying that, people stop with the baby removal. Oh, my gosh. Turn around. Put your hands behind your back. What? There's no silent prayer here, stupid. You're not allowed to pray in silence. This is truly Minority Report. If you guys have seen the movie. It's precog. You can't even have the thought. That's some scary times over in England. England! We're not talking in Gaza. We're not talking in some, third world country. In England, you go to jail for thinking. Let that sink in. And so JD's over there going, we ain't having that.
To pay thousands of pounds in legal costs to the prosecution. Now, I wish I could say that this was a fluke, a one-off crazy example of a badly written law being enacted against a single person. But no, this last October, just a few months ago, the Scottish government began distributing letters to citizens whose houses lay within so-called safe access zones, warning them that even private prayer within their own homes may amount to breaking the law.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry to break in here. So now you can't even be on the street. It has nothing to do with the street. If you're praying in your house where nobody outside can hear you, the fact that you're inside your home, dear Lord, please work your magic on these people and let them understand that, there are other ways they shouldn't be doing. Oh, were you? I didn't see you, but I'm pretty sure you were praying inside your house. Turn around, put your hands behind your back for praying inside your house. Oh, can I ask you something, officer? Yeah. Can the ones who roll out the, the little carpet and go, are they okay inside their own house? Oh, yeah, they're fine. Oh. They can do that, but I can't, if I'm Catholic, I can't do that. If I'm Protestant, just putting hands up. I can't do that inside my house. Number one, how are you going to enforce that? Knock on doors. Excuse me. I heard some Christian music coming from inside here. And I heard maybe on the television some old Billy Graham tapes. Were you actually praying? Oh, you criminal. Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
Naturally, the government urged readers to report any fellow citizen suspected guilty of thought crime. In Britain and across Europe, free speech, I fear, is in retreat.
I don't think...
So understand he has gone to another level. First it was, don't pray in the street. Don't pray to yourself in the street. Don't pray in your house. And if neighbors or friends know you're praying, then you can still go to jail. Hey, I just want you to know, I looked in the window and Barry and Robin, they had a Bible and they were on their knees. So I'm thinking they're praying. Yeah, come get them. Who wants to live in that kind of country? Who thinks that that kind of government is okay? Because what's happening in these cities, countries, is that the leaders have lost touch. And the only way they think at this point of regaining touch is to arrest people for thought crimes. It truly is the Minority Report. Before anything happens, you thought about it. I wonder if they have that for, guys that are watching stuff they shouldn't be watching and doing things they shouldn't be doing. Could that possibly get your mind to the point where you want to go out and act on that? How about that? How about, hey, listen, we understand that you may have downloaded something. And that thing that you downloaded might just get you a little bit, hot under the collar. So we're going to arrest you. Nope, none of that. No. Hey, listen, people next door smelled some fumes. They think you're smoking the wacky tobacco up in here. Or that you thought about smoking wacky tobacco. Do you got any wacky tobacco in here? Well, a little bit. Oh, don't worry about it. We're good with that. As long as you weren't praying. If you were praying while you were rolling the wacky tobacco, I'm going to have to take you. If you were praying while you were watching the thing on the video with the girl doing something, then I have to take you. But if you don't pray, you're okay. Do whatever you want. Live your life. Far-fetched? No. It's actually happening. It's actually happening. And they wanted it here. We were this close from it happening here. And if it weren't for something like X and this place to an extent, or Facebook to an extent, it would have happened. Because the media, you now know, are nothing but liars. The reason Trump got elected, and he has said it. I went on these podcasts. I was on X. I was doing things in media. I can't go talk to them. All they are is a bunch of liars. And so what has happened, we heard this yesterday. Was it yesterday? Days go flying by. With Reagan Reese, White House reporter. And she's like, yeah, Kash Patel's going to get in. Why? Because J.D. Vance, having been a senator, is going in and kicking butt and telling these people, I know what you're doing, I know what you're thinking, voting. And so they're not relying on traditional media. They're relying on you and me to get the word out. That's why I'm always telling you, keep it going, keep talking, spread videos, talk about things. That's your opportunity because you are winning. You are helping Trump win. Listen to this.
He would have been confirmed if it weren't for digital media, independent media. I don't know about Kash, maybe not him either. And definitely not RFKJ. Even, Tucker had him on his podcast that he was doing over on Fox Nation, but they wouldn't let him on Fox News Channel. Like, RFKJ would still be in the, off to the sidelines if it weren't for independent media. And there was no way he could rehabilitate himself without independent media. And I think the same is true of Tulsi, where she was, rejected by the Republican establishment. It's amazing. This is a victory, I think, for, anybody who supports MAHA and the revolutionary things happening in when it comes to public health. But it's also, it's a victory for people in our lane.
For people in our lane. When Robin, I was laying down by the pool, and Robin's like, have you looked at X lately? I'm like, no, I'm just chilling. You might want to go check X. I'm like, what's going on? People are asking where the hell you are. Like, what do you mean? They're like, hey man, TikTok. We need to have a video. And I'm like, I'm chilling. Get out, do something. And I realized at that point, it finally sunk into me, the 340 something subscribers, the great numbers on the video. It wasn't till this moment tonight when she said, you gotta go on, that it really dawned on me. And I said, you know what? We collectively are the reason why Trump is winning, why Trump won, why these people are getting confirmed. It's because of us, not me. All of us, all MAGA. At this point, I can't even tell you when I see stuff like that, and I see what's going on in our private X group, which is over 15,000 people and growing every single day. Is like 20, 50 more people want to grow in that. I mean, want to join that group. And then I look at the comments here, and I see everything that people are saying, and it's like, get your butt up. You decided to make these shows. Give people information and more information that they may not see on the media, so they can get out there and talk about it. And now when I click on X and a feed is like this, I'm like, oh my God. Point in reference. I was probably one of the first channels of size to play the FAFO video. And I played it like 4 days in a row, and I put it on X, and I think my post on X had something like 700,000 views. It went crazy, pre-viral. And you know, the guys been seeing it all, seeing everybody passing it around, because you passed it around and you talked about it, and now it's become a phenomenon. And great for these guys. They decided to contact iTunes and Spotify and you know, try to monetize it. And when you try to monetize something, unfortunately, other people can't use it. So I had to delete it from a couple of my videos, and I won't be able to use it moving forward because now that's a monetized asset they're trying to earn money from. And I'm not ticked off at all. The reason I bring it up is that's the power of what you have now. You can take something, whether it's one of my videos or Benny's videos or Patrick Bet-David or Tim Pool or Dan Bongino, and you can take a snippet or do what those guys did was a little bit way out there in terms of the skill level to do it, but they put something out and it's going to reach millions of people. MSNBC, CNN, CBS, they have no interest in that. There's no way they're going to promote FAFO. That's all you. And you know, when people see these things, they take fire. Absolutely explode because of you. And I'm glad I did my part. My part was, hey guys, this looks good. Check it out. Let's play it a couple times. And in the span of like 3 or 4 days, boom. Absolute boom. That's what this media is all about. That's why we don't need CNN. We don't blah, 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 blah. They're still in the Stone Age. You guys, with your help, took that one video and blew it to the point where it became an asset for these guys where they could monetize. I hope it does fantastic for them. And if they make another one, I'll push another one. And I remember when I did the poll, and you know, because some people emailed me, Barry, the guys their eyes look demonic, and we shouldn't be putting that kind of stuff out. And I emailed one person, I go, how many demons have you run into lately? Because, I mean, if you're saying the eyes look demonic, you must know demons. He never emailed back, of course, because at that point, you realize it's your problem, not these kids' problem. And I talked to you about enlarging the tent and everything else. And if you look at what some of the people commented about that video on X, you can literally see the MAGA tent going like that. You can literally see kids going, man, that AI is bad. Oh, that AI, that was sick how you put that together. All the kid lingo, so you know it's kids talking. When I say kids, anybody younger than 25 is a kid. But you did that. And so when Megan was just saying the fact that these nominees are beginning to move forward, it's because we're pushing it. And the media has no answer for what we do. None whatsoever. None. So let's continue to listen to JD.
Who gets to be a part of our shared society? And of all the pressing challenges that the nations represented here face, I believe there is nothing more urgent than mass migration. Today, almost 1 in 5 people living in this country moved here from abroad. That is, of course, an all-time high. It's a similar number, by the way, in the United States, also an all-time high. The number of immigrants who entered the EU from non-EU countries doubled between 2021 and 2022 alone, and of course, it's gotten much higher since. And we know this situation, it didn't materialize in a vacuum. It's the result of a series of conscious decisions made by politicians all over the continent and others across the world over the span of a decade. We saw the horrors wrought by these decisions yesterday in this very city. And of course, I can't bring it up again without thinking about the terrible victims who had a beautiful winter day in Munich ruined. Our thoughts and prayers are with them and will remain with them. But why did this happen in the first place? It's a terrible story, but it's one we've heard way too many times in Europe and unfortunately too many times in the United States as well. An asylum seeker, often a young man in his mid-20s, already known to police, rams a car into a crowd and shatters a community. How many times must we suffer these appalling setbacks before we change course and take our shared civilization in a new direction? No voter on this continent went to the ballot box to open the floodgates to millions of unvetted immigrants. But you know what they did vote for? In England, they voted for Brexit, and agree or disagree, they voted for it. And more all over Europe, they're voting for political leaders who promise to put an end to out-of-control migration. Now, I happen to agree with a lot of these concerns, but you don't have to agree with me. I just think that people care about their homes. They care about their dreams.
I think the Democrat.
He's so true. It is so true what he's saying right there. The people at this point have had enough. It's the governments in these countries and here that don't want to listen, that have some plan, some master crazy plan of forcing it down your throat. And we're not going to take it anymore. We have decided, and I love the way that JD spoke. Obviously, he looks like he's presidential already. I mean, I could really see Trump going 2028. It's you, bro. Take it. Just go with it. But it's we have to recognize what's happening around the world isn't by accident. They don't want, and they're bringing these people in from whoever, wherever, to try and change the culture in each one of these countries. And here it was very close. Very, very close. And that's why I keep stressing to everybody, you have to keep being in the fight. You have to know what your opponents are doing. You have to know what you're up against. You have to know that there are nuts out there declaring war on the United States. Because if you don't know how to prepare and react. I want to know. I want to be able to bring it to you and go, hey man, listen, there's some nuts out there. As crazy it may be, and he was white, he seems like the type of guy who would go to a church and do something stupid. They really feel that their way of life, which is a artificial way of life, because we know that because Donald Trump isn't a fascist. He's not a threat to democracy. So their way of life and their way of thinking is fake. Somebody cooked it up for them. Somebody made them, brainwashed them into thinking that this was the case. Luckily, a lot of people here in America are beginning to see, oh, that's not really true, is it? Nope, not true. But the people over there still see it. I mean, I see this comment by Lavender Patch. Finally, my brother and sister-in-law are inside the MAGA tent. Yeah, every day it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and people are seeing it. Yeah, the left tries to put rent a moron. They sure do. My 78-year-old sister, wow, my 78-year-old sister disowned me 6 years ago because I support Trump. Brainwashed by the legacy media. Yeah, it was funny before Robin's stepmom passed away. It was very interesting that one of the biggest things that she did was she absolutely loved Facebook. And she would call Robin because she knew what I was doing. She goes, "Is this true?" And Robin would tell her, "No, it's not true." "Hey, I just saw this. Is this true?" "Nope, don't ignore it." And then you realize that people are being fed crap, and if they don't have anyone to talk to, or as like Lavender said, even if they have someone to talk to, it's too much. Look up the term, in case you don't know it right now, look up the term, after the show, by the way, cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance was barely talked about for a long period of time, a psychological term. And what's happening is people have formed or been given or programmed certain beliefs, and they can't even accept that their beliefs are wrong. Because at this point, for people to believe, Donald Trump isn't the second coming of Hitler, after you've been marching in the streets or wherever saying it for, last 4 or 5, 6 years, you can't even digest what you're seeing right now. And then they can't digest how we could think otherwise. So the cognitive dissonance in their mind prevents them from understanding or even wanting to understand. Obviously, cognitive dissonance is a psychological issue. And so that's why many, many, many people are never, ever coming back. But I'll be right back in a second. As you know, President Trump has assembled the Avengers to make America great again. And of course, we're all excited and ready to see them get to work. But with everything we're seeing right now, don't take your eye off the ball. Things could get much worse before they get better. With the possibility of World War III still looming, and with the Democrats doing everything they can to impede Trump, you still need to keep your guard up and your money protected. Oh, and our national debt is still massively increasing. Don't get me wrong, I have high hopes for Trump's America, but I also have a family to look out for. You see, Trump and the Avengers have quite the uphill battle ahead. That's why I'm making sure I'm protected, and I'm recommending that you do the same. One way to be protected is by diversifying your portfolio. That's why on this channel I've been happy to partner with Lear Capital. As you know, I've been involved in real estate for quite some time, and although I dabbled in gold and silver, Kevin and his staff at Lear have helped to educate me even further, especially in regards to silver. Give Lear a call today and they'll show you how easy it is to move some of your savings or your retirement account into gold and silver. Gold and silver have been proven to hold value and protect wealth for the long term. Call Lear today at 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com to get your free gold and silver wealth protection guides. There's no obligation, just free information. Many of you have seen my interviews with Lear founder Kevin Demerit, and I can tell you this company is solid and likes to educate their customers. Just so you know, Lear has over 27 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, and over $3 billion in trusted transactions, and is the only company with a 24-hour risk-free purchase. You don't pay unless you're 100% satisfied. So call 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. And when you call, don't forget to ask how you can get up to $15,000 in bonus gold or silver with a qualifying purchase. So if you'd like to take advantage of this opportunity, please call my friends at Lear Capital at 800-601-5430 and tell them Barry sent you. All right, so if you guys have been following along, there is some crazy stuff happening in the gold market. absolutely crazy stuff. I'm hoping to get Kevin on, Monday or Tuesday, depending on his time. But something weird is going on in the gold market. I think it has something to do with everything that's been happening with this with this Doge stuff. But it's starting to creep up. It's huge. Let me talk to you for a second about Rumble, which I am now streaming live on right now. When Rumble first started in 2013, they built the platform for the small creator. They didn't censor or have biases. They were fair and treated all creators equally. No one thought platforms would censor political conversation or censor opinions on C-19, but they did. Facebook admitted they fell to pressure from the Biden and the Harris administration. Rumble did not. They held the line. They are attacked daily for giving us a voice to talk to you. They are attacked in corporate media. They are attacked by governments like France. They are attacked from brand advertisers who refuse to work with them. Corporate America is fighting to remove speech. Rumble is fighting to keep it. Rumble won't survive with brand advertisers alone. They don't get much of it. Watching this show on Rumble is the most I can ask from you and the most they can ask for you. But if you really believe in this fight and you have the means, one major way you can help Rumble survive is by joining Rumble Premium. Join a community that believes in the First Amendment and believes in human right to free speech. Rumble is offering $10 off with the promo code STUDIO when you purchase an annual subscription. Go to rumble.com/premium and use promo code STUDIO. Like I said, if you have the means and believe in the cause, now is the time to join Rumble Premium. And if you don't have the means, sit back and we're just happy to have you watch the video, whether it's here or on Rumble. All right. So I want to say one thing. I made a boo-boo. And when I make the boo-boo, I will own up to making the boo-boo. Mountain Goddess says the Rage Against the Machine call was killing in the name of. Yes, I was wrong. Killing in the name of. Yes, Bulls on Parade is the other big song. But yes, it was killing in the name of. So if you are a Rage fan, that is indeed the name of the song I was referencing. It's killing in the name of. So let's continue. What I want to show you now is that there are indeed some Democrats who are starting to realize we're screwed. We are absolutely screwed with this Donald Trump stuff. And it's taken, 2 months for these people to start popping up and realize we need to change this stuff because people aren't listening.
Brand is really bad. And I think this was an election based on culture. And the Democrats' kind of failure to connect on a cultural basis with a wide swath of Americans is hugely problematic.
My question is, Donald Trump is a very scary guy. What makes him so popular?
Chuck, you want to take that one?
This is my favorite question. We've talked about it on this program before. I joined the Democratic Party in 1989 because I wanted to fight NAFTA. I wanted to drain the swamps. I wanted to make sure that my tax dollars weren't going to foreign wars or wasted. I give you that one, Brian. And that sounds like Donald Trump today. That's why we lose to him, is we've let him steal our verbiage. We have quit talking about working America's, keeping America safe, doing the things that we did when I joined this party. And that's the reason he is scary. But he's not scary to enough people to lose elections because he sounds like the Democrats, and why I joined this party.
Bingo. And the masterfulness of how he's gone about putting his team together, bringing in RFK Jr., Democrat, bringing in Tulsi Gabbard, Democrat, former Bernie supporter. You can't help but see the tent grow. And he basically took the best parts at whatever it was at that point. He took the best parts of the Democrat Party, their platform, and took it away from them. When I was talking about Rage Against the Machine, all that stuff, F you, I won't do what you talk. That was the Democrat Party. And he went in and reached into their heart and pulled it out and said, I'm going to take this now. And then he crafted MAGA around it. And since then, because they lurched so far left and they went crazy, the Democrat platform became his. You can look at everything that Trump does, and you sit back and go, yeah, they wanted peace back then. Yeah, they didn't want military intervention around the world. Yeah, they didn't want to pay a whole bunch in taxes. Yeah, and you realize he took what the best part of the Democrat Party, took it. We now own it. And so between that and adding in the conservative part, he's built a brand that is seemingly insurmountable. And he has left the Democrats in shambles. Everything you used to stand for, he has. And I want you to just dwell on that for a second, because that's freaking stunning. Because you who are maybe older, you're realizing the whole thing from JFK. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. JFK could never get elected in today's Democrat Party. You and I both know that. RFK couldn't get elected in today's Democrat Party. RFK Jr. couldn't get elected in today's Democrat Party. Why? How did, in 50 years, the complete Democrat Party has devolved to the point where the most, how can I say, the guy who was the most amenable, who my parents loved, was JFK, and he would have been probably president for at least 8 years, and they took him out, and people mourned for that for years because of what he stood for, and they loved JFK Jr. And today, none of them would be able to be voted into the Democrat Party. I would venture to say that Martin Luther King would be ostracized. That's how far they've gone in such a short period of time for a country. In 50 years, 60 years. Everything they stood for is gone. Martin Luther King, I'd rather my children be judged by the content of their character instead of the color of their skin. He wouldn't be welcome in the Democrat Party. Content of your character? No, man. I'm black. Give me some BLM stuff. You owe me reparations. What? What do you mean we owe you? How are you getting out there in the street and telling other people they owe you something for something you were never involved in? MLK would be completely ostracized. He wouldn't recognize black ministers like that one I played earlier. We're never... Huh? What are you saying? You have, me being black, have equality. I can do anything I want. Legally. But it's still not enough. The whole DEI stuff... You think Martin Luther King Jr. would be okay with this DEI crap? That is the antithesis of what he preached. And completely. I'd rather my children be judged by the content of their character than the color of their skin. And the Democrat Party of 2024 and 2025 wants nothing to do with that. They want an advantage simply because of the color of their skin. You can't even look at those two things correctly. So when they're sitting around wondering how it all happened, is because you turned your back on the Democrat Party. What did RFK Jr. say at one of the rallies? I didn't leave the Democrat Party. It left me. And Trump was brilliant and said, you know what? I could use him. Oh, Tulsi? Yeah, I could use her. Let's make that tent big. Let's work together. Let's come together. Last night, I just want to say something in case you guys weren't here. I think it was last night. Man, the days kind of go all together. And I've told you, you really, really, really have to understand where Trump is going with this and how it's so important to build that big MAGA tent, blow that balloon up. And it may be different than what you're used to, but we have the same focus and goals. Make America great again. So we're still trying to get a hold of Scott Presler, but before I even reached out to Scott Presler, or had Ashley reach out to him, I said, are you guys going to be okay if Scott Presler would be able to come on? Would you feel comfortable that I was speaking and talking to a gay man, even though he's MAGA to the hilt? And then, of course, everybody said, sure, of course, yes, bring Scott Presler on. If Ashley can book Scott Presler, do it. And I was so proud of you. So proud of you. Well, last night, as I was going through the Super Chats, those of you who were here know exactly what happened. Those of you who weren't, let me tell you a quick story. I'm going through, as I always do, the Super Chats, and I get to one, and I won't mention his name again. But the guy says in his Super Chat that listening to me, I changed his life. And I'm like, wow, man, that's heavy. And he said, I'm gay, and now I've become MAGA, and I've also come to God. And I told Robin that today. I said, Robin, I was stunned. I got off. You guys don't even remember. Actually, it was yesterday afternoon. I got off, and I literally stared into space. And I'm like, Lord, I'm not equipped for this. I try to bring truth as much as I can. Sometimes I get song names wrong. But I try to bring truth and let people know you are welcome. You are welcome here. Don't care what you did. We've all fallen. And I'm not here to denigrate you. If you want to see America great again, we're here for you. I want this tent to be bigger. And I said, Lord, thank you for whatever words he heard me say. Thank you. You guys don't realize the power you have nowadays. I keep telling you, get out there, talk, tweet, X, whatever you want to post. And because there's so many people on social media and on these YouTube channels that are lurking. They don't feel comfortable putting it out there yet. Let me just see what these people are like. Because I've heard so many bad things. These MAGA people have horns in their head and they spit fire, and they have 3 toes on one hand. Or see all the story. I've even had relatives at one point who would call us down here. Is it okay to come to Florida? I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, I heard something on the news and it's that bad. And so for a man to say, number one, I'm gay. Number two, I like you brought me to Trump and I'm MAGA. Number 3, you brought me to God. I'm like, oh my gosh! Just from doing these videos, we're saving souls. You're telling me we could make videos or post things on X or whatever and save souls? That's the biggest super chat in the world. There are no bigger super chats. There are no bigger ad sponsors than someone telling you, you changed my life. And I'm bringing this up because you are in it. You have the opportunity to change lives. There are so many people. You see these nuts that I show you sometimes, and the reason why I show you is because there's a lot of people who are just wondering, what's this thing like? What are these MAGA people like? And you don't want to be that person to turn them away. And that's all I'm saying. I want you to be very comfortable. If you're not comfortable with somebody's sexuality or something, that's okay. I'm not telling you to be. But I'm telling you, if somebody reaches out to you, you're in a situation at that point where, I want this to be a fantastic America. I don't want to even do great anymore. Make America fantastic. Because every single person that contributes to a greater America makes us all more prosperous, makes us all more safe. So just remember that as you're talking to people, that what Trump did and what that guy said, he took the Democrat Party. That's freaking genius. Freaking genius. Yeah, praise and honor to God for sure. You know, and yeah, oh, his name was Scott Matthews. Okay, yeah. I hope we gave him comfort. Yes, it's amazing if just one person hears. That's it. Big. All right, so let's continue with another segment here. This is now we're going to move into Trump feeding off of this. Trump is getting stronger. Every single day he's getting stronger. Before I go there, let me show you a couple of things that I pulled down. President Trump put this out earlier. Let me put this out. Okay. On trade, I have decided for purposes of fairness that I will charge a reciprocal tariff, meaning whatever countries charge the United States, we will charge them. No more, no less. For the purposes of this United States policy, we will consider countries that use the VAT system, which is far more punitive than a tariff, to be similar to that of a tariff. Sending merchandise, product, or anything by any other name through another country for the purposes of unfairly harming America will not be accepted. In addition, we will make provision for subsidies provided by countries in order to take economic advantage of the United States. Likewise, provisions will be made for non-monetary tariffs and trade barriers that some countries charge in order to keep our product out of their domain. And he goes on, I mean, a pretty long post here, talking about these tariffs. And the most important part is right here. For many years, the United States has been treated unfairly by other countries, both friend and foe. This system will immediately bring fairness and prosperity back into the previously complex and unfair system of trade. So what President Trump is trying to do is merely level the playing field. If you're going to charge us, it's only right that we charge you. That's it. That's it. It's not being overly punitive to another country. It's making sure that the playing field is level. You won't hear that in the media, and then you have to wonder, does the media really care about America? No. No, it's a very hard pill to swallow when you realize the media doesn't care about America. They care about these other countries. Because why wouldn't you want to be equitable? This came up, Jonathan Turley. Vance's speech, which I showed you 2 excerpts of, was truly Churchillian, no less than the famous Iron Curtain speech daring the West to confront the danger of communism. Roughly 80 years later, Vance called allies to account for the growing threat, not from foreign adversaries, but themselves. And I'm like, man, that is so true. You are your own problem, Europe. There's nobody invading Europe. You are your own problem. What you're trying to do to your people is a problem. You are no longer, as I said the other day, you are no longer in control. You have the illusion of control. You're realizing you're losing control, and in order to regain it, you now say, I need to shut up my population. I need to jail those who have different thoughts. You want people to go to jail for having thoughts, which is telling everyone you never expected people to be free. They were your subjects. And now that people can see and understand and read and learn different things, you want to put that back in a box so bad you're willing to put people in jail for thought crimes. Just let that sink in. When everything was fine and there was no Twitter and there was no Facebook and there was no TikTok, and you would just listen to 1, 2, or 3 stations, or in England 1, BBC, that message that we grew up on, that message that was instilled over and over. I've mentioned Walter Cronkite so many times because it's ingrained in me. That's the way it is. Tuesday, April 12th. That's it. Okay. Wow, he did that in 30 minutes? Damn, he's good. He told me everything I need to know. What was it? What's the, is it Washington or New York Times? All the news you need to know, all the news worth the printing or something like that. You don't need to know anything else. You don't need to know anything else. And now all of a sudden people can talk. And oh my God, now they have AI making videos. It's dangerous. We can't have you do that. Oh, you're praying inside of your house? Oh, we're going to have to arrest you. You had the illusion of freedom. You never had it. And that's something many of us are waking up to at this point, because even here, we weren't free. We had the illusion of freedom. You were told what to think for decades. That's it. There was no interpersonal peer-to-peer discussion. Hey, did you hear what happened on the news yesterday? Oh yeah, it was pretty bad. Hey, let's go have a sandwich. That was it. That was it. Hey, you hear what happened at Kent State? Oh yeah, the military went there and they did something. Okay, what time's dinner? Now, as you can see, people can't get enough. They're starving. They're thirsty. Give me more knowledge. Give me more knowledge. You're here. You're here with, let's see what we got here. You're here with 13, almost 14,000 other people, which means by the time Google aggregates, this thing will probably be seen by 100,000 people. You're here because you want to consume more. Show me more. Show me more. Because you now know without a shadow of a doubt, the media is full of crap. The government, up until 2 months ago, was full of crap. Everything you've been told is basically the movie Wizard of Oz. There's people behind a curtain and they're cranking and stuff, and no one dare see the great and powerful Oz. Think about that. Hey, I'd like to see Oz. You know, we got Dorothy and the Tin Man here, and no one sees the great and powerful Oz. That was us. We don't know who's behind the curtain. We still don't know who's been behind the curtain. And it's a culture shock to us. We're like, wait a minute. What do you mean that RFK Jr. is a threat to health, and at the same time, the same people who said he's a threat to health have been telling people for the last couple of years that boys can have babies? How are you reconciling that? For the last 4 or 5 years, you've been telling this stuff. There is no such thing as a woman. What do you mean? Anybody can be a woman. That does not compute. And so just that one fact in the news, can tell you you can't listen to anything that they say. If someone was willing to shove it down your throat, which you know cannot possibly happen, and then demand that you accept it, demand turn you off if you have another opinion. Nope. Yes, they can. No, but they can't. There's just no possible way. But yet you want to tell us that RFK Jr. is bad. You see the disintegration happening? And why it's happening is because they can't keep up the grand illusion anymore. It's falling apart in front of them. It's absolutely crazy. All right, so let's continue with this.
Today, this government's going to shrink. This president was elected to reduce the size of government. He's allowed to do that. These employees want this deal. Their own unions are opposing something they want, but it's not a scam. The government is bound by this deal. He is allowed to have Musk working through the White House. They have Treasury people and other officials now part of DOJ. Congress has a parallel DOJ committee. The IGs are doing their own investigation along the same lines. All of that is permissible.
That was legal expert Jonathan Turley saying that President Trump is allowed to shrink the federal government. As a federal judge in Massachusetts hands Trump a victory on his federal worker buyout plan, that judge ruling that the union challenging the Trump buyout had no standing, meaning basically that none of their workers were even involved. In addition to that, the court itself had no authority. Basically, that this is just a frivolous lawsuit put up by obstructionist Democrats waging lawfare. Joining us now for reaction, former House Judiciary Chief Counsel under Clinton and attorney Julian Epstein. Julian, it's great to have you on this subject tonight. Wow, there are a lot of cases outstanding, and we're following a lot of different aspects of it here. But the constitutional crisis that the Democrats are screaming about is really the one that they are creating, which is that they're creating more lawfare. For example, that Boston judge, Judge O'Toole, really looked at this and realized without any jurisdiction, without participants actually litigating in this particular case, he would look like a fool to block President Trump's buyout.
Well, Jackie, thanks for having me. It's great to be with you. There is no constitutional crisis, and President Trump made it clear that he'll abide.
You have to understand, Julian Epstein has been a Democrat lawyer, a Democrat pundit for quite some time. Again, we're starting to see the shift where people who want to have some sort of credibility have to begin realizing, yeah, these people are nuts. Yeah, I can't go with you anymore. You're absolutely nuts.
By whatever court decisions come down. So there is no constitutional crisis. And moreover, Trump is likely to win on all the major issues. Trump, as the chief executive of the executive branch, has the right to go in and audit and access payments, and he has his right to have his designee do that in Elon Musk. So the access to the payment systems is perfectly constitutional. He has the right to rescind or to slow down federal payments so long as they are not earmarked. He has the right to do workforce reductions within limits. Now, there may be challenges on second-order issues. I can imagine a judge saying that if Musk gets access to payment systems, he has to ensure that privacy information isn't leaked to the public. That's perfectly reasonable. I can see there being issues relating to lower-level civil service employees in terms of what protections they may have through the Merit Systems Protection Board. But these are secondary issues. For the most part, Trump has all of the authority he is going to need, and to the extent that some of these issues have not been decided and go to the Supreme Court, you're going to see happen exactly what happened in the ballot access, Trump's ballot issue in Colorado, and the immunity decisions, which are the Supreme Court has made it very, very clear that they do not regard the bureaucratic state as a fourth branch of government. They believe that is...
So knowing that what the Supreme Court believes. The Supreme Court has already decided that you bureaucrats, you administrative people, are not a branch of government. President Trump already knows he's going to win. He knows where this is headed. And they know where it's headed. All they're trying to do is throw rocks in front of him, kick rocks, make impediments, do whatever you can to simply slow him down. We know we can't win. Maybe if we get a couple of these crazy judges to put things out there, the nuts on the other side will be happy, and we won't lose everybody. And to that end, Juanita here says, Barry, with all due respect, by mocking all those that are lost on the outside, we are telling them not to join us. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not mocking people and telling them not to join us. I have come to the realization that there are a certain amount of people, because of their TDS, who are never coming back. There are, again, go look up the term cognitive dissonance. These aren't people who are searching or reaching or would like some information or show me what you guys have. These are people who don't want nothing to do with us, who would rather have us dead than anything else. They're not the ones who are saying, you know what, maybe I was misled. Tell me some more about this MAGA thing. One of the problems I think a lot of people are having, especially those of us who are Christian, is to acknowledge and accept that, how do I say this? There are a lot of people who don't want to hear what you have to say. That doesn't mean they won't eventually. want to hear what you're saying, and we need to be there for them when it happens. But I can't spend my time reaching out to you. You have to come to a realization, just like with thing we all had to do. We all had to walk down the altar and say, didn't matter how many preachers we heard from, didn't matter how many people in our family, didn't matter. We had to hear a message, each one of us, and we had to say, you know what? Yeah, I need to change. It is a personal conviction. And so when I hear people saying I declare war on America, that tells me you're not there yet. Because if you were there, you would say, well, what's this all about? What have I heard something that allows me to come forward? Come. How many of you have heard Billy Graham speeches back in the day? And in the invocation, when it would happen, and people would hear, number one, you're at the event, and you're listening. And it doesn't matter what stage you're in, but you're open to listening. See, right now, there's too many people on the left who aren't even open to listening. They don't want to hear it. So that's where the difference is. Let's continue.
It is an Article 2 executive branch within the Article 2 executive branch powers, and they will come down on the side of Trump. So the Democrats, from a legal point of view, Jackie, are walking into a legal trap where they're going to lose this issue and they're going to be embarrassed. And politically, this is a disaster for them. The public is on the side of Trump here, not the Democrats.
I think you're right, and I think they're just trying to slow things down, but that's not even happening. Some of these judges are ruling pretty quickly.
And he's going to put
okay, so they're losing. They're going to lose, which can make some of this kind of dangerous as well. Because we don't know how they're going to react, because right now they see, every once in a while there's a glimmer of hope, and somebody says, you can't do it, we won. And you have Letitia James, and you have the nuts out there trying to incite them. And so they think that they have a shot at this. And I don't think many of them look at things and say, it's 2 months since he's been in office. Actually, I'm sorry. I keep saying it. 1 month. January 20th was January 20th was inauguration. It's February 15th. It's not even a month. It seems like it's so long. So much is happening. Listen to Jason here.
Incredible entrepreneurs and the smartest people I know around him. I have no choice but to support him, right? I don't like some of the things he does stylistically, but I don't really care about style points when it comes to the fact.
Case in point. Here's a guy, Jason Kalkanis, gay, liberal, and now has seen, because he surrounds himself with people who he can talk to. That's exactly what I'm saying. Someone who sit back and goes, yeah, I can see it now. I can see it. Let's talk. Now I support Trump. You know, people with actual functioning frontal lobes, not screeching and 95 piercings and screaming at you. Here's a man who's in business and said, yeah, I like what I'm hearing.
That I believe the country is on such an unsustainable path in terms of spending. $36 trillion in debt, adding $1 trillion or $2 trillion, and the amount of waste and fraud that's going to come out of Doge. I mean, I've had conversations with Elon. He's been very public about it. He had a presser with Trump in the Oval Office. The stuff that's going to come out is going to be mind-boggling. The amount.
So I've heard that now from 3 or 4 different people directly. In addition to what Jason just said, I've talked in my interviews who are kind of in the inside and going, the amount of stuff, what you're going to hear is going to be mind-boggling. I've heard scary beyond belief. It will touch you to your core. And I'm thinking some of that stuff may involve the 300,000 or 400,000 kids. There is so much more, and we're only 3 weeks in. And the Democrats are on their heels, and they can't stop this tidal wave. that just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's no way out. There's no way out of this.
Grift, the amount of criminal behavior, and obviously waste and waste is just so staggering. And we have to turn this around, Megan. If we don't get this debt under control, it's existential. You know, they have this saying, how did you go bankrupt? Slowly and then all at once. And that's where our country is. We need to stop the waste, fraud, abuse, and spending, and it's going to take collective austerity, but we have no choice.
He is uncovering.
Now, when you hear people talk in matter-of-fact terms like that, we don't have a choice. There is no longer runway. At some point, this is all going to run out. There's only so much money you can squeeze out of the American people and steal. And so you have to. There is no option. The Democrats won't look at it this way. We don't have any option but to rein this stuff in. And thus far, no Democrat has in Congress or in the Senate has been willing to even discuss it. That's where the complete disconnect is like, hey, we're $1 gazillion in debt. You're sending money to God knows where, and you don't have any plan to even sit down with President Trump and say, hey, where can we cut this? They don't want to cut anything. In fact, Kamala Harris ran on a platform of raising your taxes. Hey, how do we solve this? Oh, we take more of your money. That's a losing argument. And I cannot believe there are actually people in Congress and in the Senate who don't understand that. It's unsustainable. It is going to fail. You can't run your personal life that way. You just can't keep running up bills and all of a sudden, boom, you're done.
Fraud. I mean, I think that's important. He's not making new policy. I think he's saying you're supposed to go from A to B with this money flow, but it's not getting to B. It's going to all these little rivulets and sort of side roads, and that's not what the Congress intended. And that's the way I see it. Uncovering fraud should be a good thing. I don't know why Democrats are out there defending bureaucracy or defending fraud. USAID is just one example. There are many.
He is putting them in a position where they have to defend the indefensible. And all we're trying to do, DOGE and OMB at the behest of the president, is to get a handle on the waste, the inefficiency, the fraud, and quite frankly, the degree to which these agencies have been weaponized against the American people. And USAID is a perfect example of that in terms of wasting our taxpayer dollars to not only go and push ideologies that the host countries don't want, but to literally destabilize their foreign policy. That's just common sense. Why would we spend $1 on that money? And that's what we're going to see at each and every agency that we look and turn to get a handle on.
So that's Russ Vought, who is now the director of the Office of Management and Budget, talking right there. And I have to disagree with him. One thing he said. He's like, what President Trump is doing is making them defend the indefensible. And that's not what's happening. They're not trying to defend it. They're trying to ignore it. There's no problem. We don't understand what you're talking about. They won't discuss a single dollar. Not one of the things, and I'm still keeping chart of it, and you can keep score at home, not one Democrat in either the Senate or the House has said anything about any of the individual things that Elon Musk has found. Not one. They have not said, maybe we should cut back on this. Nope. They're not trying to defend the indefensible. They are ignoring the indefensible. It's a boogeyman that they think is in the closet, and if they can convince enough people that it doesn't exist, then everything will be fine. At this point, it is an obvious plan that they've put together is don't ever discuss any of the numbers. Just say that Elon is unelected, he's doing the bad things, and so you're not having to defend the indefensible because nobody is talking about the indefensible. Not even in the media. They're not talking about the indefensible, and sometimes if they decide to talk about numbers, they lie. Rachel Maddow, I think it was in yesterday's video, I showed you. She said that Elon Musk had a $400 million contract that Trump gave him, blah, 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 and it was given to him by Biden. They won't discuss the indefensible. It literally is a boogeyman in the closet. So, segueing here, on Tuesday night at 9, which I'll probably cover it, Donald Trump and Elon Musk did an interview with Sean Hannity. They're going to broadcast the entire interview on Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. So I may do a late show so we can watch it together and talk about it. But here's two excerpts from their conversation.
And the punditry class, not that, I think you've proven they have no power anymore because they threw everything they had at you and they didn't win. And that was, the New York Times, Washington Post, 3 networks, every late night comedy show, 2 cable channels. They threw everything, lawfare, weaponization. Sure. And now I see they want you two to start, they want a divorce. They want you two to start hating each other. And they try, President Elon Musk, for example. You do know that they're doing that to you.
Oh, I see it all the time. They tried it, then they stopped. That wasn't. They have many different things of hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely. No, they said, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has ceded control of the presidency to Elon Musk. President Musk will be attending a cabinet meeting tonight at 8 o'clock. And I say, it's just so obvious. They're so bad at it. I used to think they were good at it. They're actually bad at it, because if they were good at it, I'd never be president. Because I think nobody in history has ever gotten more bad publicity than me. I could do the greatest things. I get 98% bad publicity. I could do, outside of you and a few of your very good friends, it's like the craziest thing. But you know what I have learned, Elon? The people are smart. They get it.
Yeah, they do, actually.
They get it. They really see what's happening.
Yes.
Absolutely. And now you could see the look in his face. That's a different look that I've seen in Trump's face, even from before. And right now, what we're seeing is someone who's very, very confident, who understands, the people get it. I no longer have to, as I'm looking at this thing, I no longer have to worry about trying to convince people that things are going the right way. They actually can see it. They understand it. They get it. And because of that, he's winning. And he's going to continue to win. 1 second here. Let me read this. President Trump said he wants to teach our kids to love our country, and now that he's in office and kicking butt and taking names and doing everything he needs to do after he's been inaugurated, now is a perfect time to teach kids everything they need to know about their new president and his mission to make America great again. That's why Mike Huckabee's team put together the Kids Guide to President Trump, and to celebrate President Trump's return to the White House, they're giving it away for free. This book is great because it features fun illustrations and content teaching kids all about President Trump's accomplishments and his goals for his second term. Mike Huckabee wants to send your family this free guide so that you can teach your kids the truth about President Trump. And when you order, you'll receive a free commemorative President Trump pin. But you must hurry because supplies are limited. Claim your free kids guide to President Trump for your kids right now. See offer details and order your free guide at kidstrumpguide.com. That's kidstrumpguide.com, or you can click the QR code that's over here, and that'll take you to it as well. kidstrumpguide.com. All right, so let's continue here. All right, so I want to start showing you something, because what's happening right now in Washington is terrifying. There's no other way to say it at this point. It's crazy. I've been, as I posted here, I've been in real estate, as I've said many times, for decades. I've never seen anything like this, and I can definitely tell you that this is devastating for a real estate market. The Doge team is causing a very real exodus from Washington, D.C. House listings are surging. Over almost 15,000 listings in this snapshot alone. It's less of a market shift and more of a mass evacuation, like rats fleeing a sinking ship. And look at all those homes for sale. That is telling you, in no uncertain terms, OMG, it's about to hit the fan. And actually, it's hit the fan. George put this up. Unemployment filings in Washington, D.C. are skyrocketing. Filings have increased by 36% compared to just 2 weeks ago. The D.C. real estate market is in shock, with many homes going up for sale at lower prices. And look at that. Look at that number. They got caught. They got caught. They've been sitting around in these multi-million-dollar homes that you're paying for, not them, that you're paying for. And now, because they're not getting that grift, they got to move. And you may be having a massive foreclosure explosion in these areas. It's crazy. I'm feeling spunky. Let's see who's selling houses in D.C. Voter Participation Center, Deputy Director of Mall Programs, World Bank consultants, and they're all just Kiplinger, Washington editors. $3 million house they're getting rid of. A secretary on Capitol Hill, owner of Waterways Council's $23 million. International business consultant for internet governance, $575. A data strategy manager at AI and Data Financial Services, $848,000 townhouse. Fuse Pilates founder, OMC executive director, 1.6. Detchert LLP, 13.5. Government analyst, territory manager, 969, and on and on and on and on. A massive implosion in the Beltway. These people, and those weren't even like, senators or anyone who's part of it. That's just the periphery. People who used to work with some of these people who are getting laid off. It's insane. They don't have anything to do, and then Trump did this. He laid off 15,000 IRS agents. 15,000. Poof. Gone. Just like that. I don't know if you guys saw that. 15,000 IRS agents. The rats are jumping off the Titanic. Some of them are being thrown off the Titanic. It is absolutely insane what is going on in Washington, D.C. Absolutely crazy. And I don't like to smile at people's misfortune because I don't know who was involved and what they did. Maybe some people are going to get swept up in this who didn't know what was coming. But for those who did, sorry about your luck. I mean, you've been stealing from people for so long. You see that story and you're like, oh, maybe, it's sad what happened to them. Then you see this. The U.S. Army has diverted over $151 million meant for soldiers' food. Financial records show that more than half of the money collected from junior enlisted troops was spent elsewhere. Fort Stewart, $17 million. Only $2.1 was spent on food. Fort Drum, $18 million collected. Only $3.9. Fort Carson, $22 million. Only $5 million spent on food. And on and on and on. Fort Bragg, $34 million. Only less than half of that went to the actual soldiers. Army officials refused to disclose where the missing funds went, despite growing concerns about food shortages on the bases. Soldiers require sufficient meals with adequate caloric intake and nutrition. Meanwhile, taxpayers demand that their funds are spent on what the U.S. government claims they are being spent on. The Pentagon continues to be in need of reform. The DOJ's audit should be an informative one since it has failed 7 audits in a row. And this stuff is just the tip. The tip. It's like every day you look at something, you're like, they stole that too? Yeah, they stole that too. Whoever was the architect of this grand scheme of theft, man, they were brilliant. And they never thought they'd get caught. Nobody ever looked. Trump saw it during his first term, and he saw the snakes trying to hurt him, but he saw enough to realize, yeah, I gotta win. I gotta get back in there. And he did, with your help. Now, I've been telling, or not been telling, but I told you earlier, there's a trump card that he still has left to play. And no one's talking about it. And I knew this, and I said, why is nobody talking about it? And I saw Peter Schiff talk about this. And Peter says this: if Trump really wants to slash government spending and shutter entire agencies and departments, all he has to do is refuse to sign the increase in the debt ceiling. Then Congress has no choice. They must cut enough current spending to balance the budget, and no court can stop this. So, understand this. The debt ceiling, I believe it's first week of March or whatever, it has to be raised because we're going to be out of money again. And all these court cases and everything else he's been involved in, he can literally turn it off like that. Just like that. And say, I'm not signing anything. And the court can't make him. That's the first time I've seen somebody actually talk about it publicly. And I'm like, yeah. Go look it up. In order for the debt ceiling to be raised, he has to sign it. And if he refused to sign it, they're done. Be prepared for a serious financial battle in a couple months. It's going to be like nothing you've seen thus far. You think what Doge has been... it won't be nothing like that. These people may jump out windows. This is going to be a financial crisis of epic proportions. Be ready. I mean, absolutely be ready. Because it's going to get crazy. Absolutely crazy. More firings. Justice Department fires 20 immigration judges from backlogged courts amid major government cuts. This was in ABC News. I wrote, how'd you get fired on your day off? This was today. You got fired on a Saturday. 20 immigration judges got cut. So 15,000 IRS agents, 20 immigration judges. This is on a Saturday. It just doesn't stop. And meanwhile, you have all of Washington looking like that. I don't see how they recover from this. People up in that the Beltway area are going to lose their butts because people are going to have to dump those properties. They're going to have to absolutely just walk away from a whole bunch of them. It's massive, absolutely massive. I'm gonna play an interview tomorrow on something to do with real estate. I want you guys to see it. I was gonna do it tonight, but we're running a little bit long here. So let me close by showing you 2 very positive things. So get the negative stuff out of your mind. I got 2 very positive things I want to show you. One's about Kash Patel. So let's take a look at this.
Hey, I want to give everybody an update on Kash Patel. First of all, yes, I'm driving down the turnpike in Oklahoma. My son's got a little procedure this morning. Happy Valentine's to my wife and I. So we're going to Norman for his surgery. But what I want to do is kind of give you an update of what's happened here. You remember Kash Patel has been held up now for a week because of procedural motions that the Democrats are doing. But just give you kind of history here. First of all, they absolutely bombarded him with questions before they would even hear him in the committee. Written questions, hundreds of written questions. And then they just wanted to destroy him in a committee, which didn't work. We passed him out of committee. And then when he came to the floor, they put a 1-week hold on him. Now they've informed us that they're going to do procedural motions on him to prevent him from being the director of the FBI, which is going to fail. All it does is just delay the end result, which is he's going to be confirmed. But it doesn't just draw the question that the agency that was weaponized to go after President Trump for the last 4 years is the one they're fighting harder to keep the director of the FBI to be confirmed. Maybe they have something to hide. Maybe I'm just looking into it. But it's ridiculous because they know they're going to lose. By the end of next week, all their procedural motions, all their holds they can do truly runs out of time. And by this time next week, Kash Patel will be the director of the FBI, and maybe we'll find out what they're hiding.
The Daytona. All right. So you heard from Reagan Reese yesterday. She said the exact same thing. He's in. Kash Patel, in my using an analogy from Lord of the Rings, he's the Arkenstone. He's the keystone. He completes the process, and he will be confirmed. I can say it confidently because I've heard from a number of people at this point. He will be confirmed. And then Katie barred the door. We don't know what's going to happen because they have fought and fought and fought. They've used all their political capital. They've used every procedure they possibly can to delay things, and you're out of time. There's nothing left. And that video came out this morning, so he said by this time next week, Kash Patel will be the FBI director. There's nothing left. That's it. So rest easy with that, and then wonder what's coming after it. So, last thing I want to show you tonight is tomorrow, February 16th, is the Daytona 500 down here in Daytona, Florida. And Donald Trump will be going and will be attending. So if you're a race fan or NASCAR fan, you might want to tune in early. I'm not really sure what time it starts, but all the festivities. This was when he was in office before. He took the beast around the track. He did the ceremonial "Gentlemen, start your engines." It should be a lot of fun. You see a lot of flags waving. It's going to be big. So check this out.
500 is a legendary display of roaring engines, soaring spirits of the American skill, speed, and power. But NASCAR fans never forget that no matter who wins the race, what matters most is God, family, and country. The cars will take to the track for the start, tires will screech, rubber will burn, fans will scream, and the great American race will begin. For 500 heart-pounding miles, these fierce competitors will chase the checkered flag. To all of the drivers, technicians, and pit crews here today, good luck, and may the best team win. Gentlemen, start your engines.
The 62nd Daytona 500 is underway.
All right, so tune in tomorrow if you like NASCAR. If you don't like NASCAR, just find out what time everything starts and be a part of the opening festivities and watch President Trump call that famous phrase, "Gentlemen, start your engines." Watch him take the beast around the track. I couldn't believe when I saw that before when he walked out there with Melania. I don't know if he'll walk out on a track given safety concerns and everything right now, but he'll have 200,000 screaming fans. I used to live in Daytona, been at that track many, many, many times. It is, the roar of those engines is something to behold. It's worth you tuning in for a short period of time. 15, 20 minutes, as they do all the fanfare, and get everything ready. So tune in, watch him. I can't show it because that's obviously a copyright event on television, and it's going to be a short time. I mean, it's not like you got to sit there for the entire 4 or 5 hours of the race. Just see the pageantry of the beginning of the Daytona 500. So that should be a lot of fun. America is back, baby. America is back. I don't think Biden ever went to the Daytona 500. I don't think so. I don't think he ever went. He didn't care. Plus, it wasn't his audience. 200,000 people. Hopefully, the weather was down here was good today. If the weather is good in Daytona Beach tomorrow, it'll be 225 because there'll be a whole bunch of people outside. 200,000 screaming fans. Love it. Absolutely love it. All right, so I should have a button with the wee sound. Yeah, you know, Maxwell the Pig. Yeah, boogity, boogity, boogity. Battery-powered race cars. Yeah, right. Not in Daytona. Oh, here's where Southern Pride said boogity, boogity, boogity. Yeah, gotta love that. All right, so before I go, I'm gonna go ahead and give away some hoodies. Before I give away the hoodies, let me go here. Boogity, boogity, boogity. That's so funny. Those of you guys who haven't been around NASCAR, yeah, that's a big saying. If you want to join us over on our X group, go to fanfareshop.org/group, and you'll be able to join what is now 15,000 plus fellow patriots. Haven't had time to update the the graphic there, but go ahead and you can join that. If you'd like to enter to win a free hoodie, in case you haven't entered, go to fanfareshop.org and you'll be able to enter to win a free hoodie. So that being said, let me actually get ready to give away. Actually, I'll do more tonight because we didn't have a chance yesterday because the system wasn't working, but it's working fine now. Let me pull this up and so everybody can see. All right, we're gonna do 5 tonight. We're gonna do 5. Drive Ashley absolutely crazy. We'll do 5. All right, let me make sure it shows up in the window. Okay, we'll go here. Okay. All right, so we're going to give away 5 hoodies right now. There we go. All right, boom. And so I got to pick one. Let me go to, where's Tommy Lawrence? Tommy Lawrence made this great drum roll for me, and I always forget to do it. There we go. Bam! There's a drum roll. The winner is Rick Rogers. Rick Rogers, you have won a free hoodie. Let's look at another one. And let me run the drum roll. K. Leonard, you have won a free hoodie. And let's go here and pick another one. Shirley Demetria Rodriguez, you have won a free hoodie. And we got one more to go here. Let's go ahead and draw another one. Kevin Bryant. I believe that was 5. Yeah, I think that was 5. I could be wrong. But anyway, there's our winners for tonight. Congratulations. What's this say? Yeah, that was 5, I believe. I hope it was 5. Yep, 5. All right, so all you got to do is just go to fanfareshop.org and you can sign up to win one. Let me go ahead and do super chats. Thank you guys for hanging out on a Saturday evening. Mark Hurley. I was at the Daytona 500 when he was there. Pretty impressive seeing Air Force One fly around the track. Oh, that would have been an awesome sight. Awesome sight. Beverly Litton, who all will be hired to keep things running? Well, obviously what they're thinking is the people who are being fired aren't needed. Big Cat, see you tomorrow for race time. MAGA, yeah. Ken, I did get your email finally today. Mr. Hollis, I got your email, and I will get back to you. By the way, I haven't been a bird dog in probably 25 years. I said I started as a bird dog before I started doing my own stuff. So I will get back to you tomorrow. Let's see here. What do we got? Ryan. Google statistics show results for lawyer and offshore bank accounts have skyrocketed. Yep, I saw that as well. They're definitely afraid. Beverly Litton, I sure hope all those DC people don't move to Texas. We don't need any more libs. The big Texas cities are purple already. Yeah, I hear you. I definitely hear you. Janet Wagner, thank you very much. Nikki33, doing my part by never missing your daily briefing, which is what's inside my busy barbershop. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I got one. I got a buzz cut today. The little stuff that's still left there. Tommy Radcliffe. Barry, can you play my version of the boys' video, Elite Guitar? I can't now. It is now copyrighted, so I can't do it. Can't do it. It would shut down. Hey, Barry, my 8-month grandson, whenever he is here and I'm watching your show, his eyes are on the TV. If he cries, I turn you on, he stops crying. Don't cry. Don't cry, son. Thank you. What's new? They sure were living well on my tax dollars. Yep, yours, mine, all of ours. They just... And now they're trying to sell these houses. They're trying to sell them before they probably get taken away. Neo, God is using your platform, Barry. Your words and videos reach many and will keep bringing more to the tent. Thank you very, very much. Steve Hale, keep up the great reporting. I appreciate that, Steve. Good America. God bless America. Dems use character assassination or lawmakers or both. They can't talk about line items without revealing themselves. Yep, that's why they're hiding from it. Definitely hiding from it. Hey, Donna, I shared the video and got a snotty reply saying, I don't care who you voted for. This is demonic. Don't send me this crap. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, some people have some views. I mean, you should see some of the emails I get. There's no telling. My favorite content moderator. Thank you very much. Born on the 4th. One who conceals hatred has lying lips, and whoever slanders is a fool. Proverbs 10:18. Never heard that before. Thank you. Christine Engler, 45 Goals of Communism, congressional record from 1963. All right. I'll have to check that out. Anna Marie Naples, love your show, Barry. Glad I discussed that. I'm glad you did too. Thank you very much. Tommy Guns, Barry, it's a spiritual war, God's soldiers and Satan's soldiers. I concur. Keith Lester, the only government party we need is we the people. Bingo. Bingo, bingo. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? Democrats' rage is like throwing rocks in a pond. It may make a ripple, but it always sinks to the bottom. Very, very well said. Michaela Ross, thank you. Jason Thomas. Barry, do you think Trump is working to get where he can abolish the Organic Act of 1871? I don't know what the Organic Act of 1871 is, so you'd have to enlighten me on that one. Yeah, I don't even know what that is. Now you're going to make me do some homework. I don't mind the homework. I don't mind looking things up. Bruce Marburger, thank you very much. Jeremiah Kerr, our governing body has become a corporation, not a country. That is so true. That is so true. Oh, Beth, how you doing? Beth says Jesus is using you for his glory. Man, that just really struck me. That really struck me. V-Shoot, little dude wants to storm the beaches of New York. He's geographically challenged. Maybe he's talking about Brighton Beach. Brighton Beach or Coney Island. Good luck with that. Go ahead and storm that. Man, what an idiot. FAFO equals for America's future only. I like that. Gold is at 28.82. It'll hit 3,000 next week. I think gold will be at 3,000. Captain Danny Barrow, do not be afraid. Trust God. I agree. David Music. After reposting pro-MAGA tweets and replying to some, I now have 383 followers. If I can do it, we all can. Congratulations. It's an endeavor. It's work. You have to do it, but it'll pay off depending on what your goals are. Yeah. Nicholas says, keep up free work. Thank you. Kim Hansen, Barry, you have to listen to Uprising by Muse. Okay. Okay. I'll have to check that out for sure. Yeah, for sure. I will check that out. Who else we got in here? Jay Hook. Thank you, Robin, for interrupting and chillaxing. I was wondering where the hell is Oh, yeah, she's like, you got to do it. You got to go on. I'm like, okay. Christine Engler. I figured out why some have been unable to think for themselves when Amy Gala senses fear. The cerebral cortex area of the brain that harnesses reasoning, and judgment. Interesting. I never knew that. Robert Husbands, thank you. Like, people think we're the only life in the universe can't see what stuff it. Demon of Cybertron. Even making one single meme and sharing it online gets you into the fight. So use that humor and get to memeing. There are some people who are making some really, really funny memes. I mean, just it's funny. Barry, you are the best at showing lying and hypocrisy. Thank you. They do so much of it. They do so much of it, so it's kind of easy to show it to everybody, because basically when they open their mouths, Connie Cole, God and you help me remain calm. Oh, thank you, Connie. Thanks, Schmoopy. I told Robin, I said, I can't believe you said that. Someone's going to call me Schmoopy. Jeremiah Carey, yes. This is our centralized movement base. All the moving parts matter. Ephesians 4:11-16. Southern Ninja. Barry, the best news source out there, and I'm addicted to your wonderful shows. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for watching, and thank you for the kind words. God bless you. Ray Smith. We was having a Barry withdrawal. Got my fix. We love watching you. It's so funny when she came and got me. She's like, you need to put something out. Pugsley, thank you. Christine Engler again. Do you have any houses available around Cape Canaveral? I have a massage client moving there for work. Cape Canaveral is about, I'd say 2, maybe 3 hours north of us. So I don't work that market, but I'm sure there's some good deals up there. For sure. It's not a heavily populated area, so you could probably get some good deals. Not too far from the beach as well. Robert Husbands. Just think how bad they were in 1776. Ooh, yeah, I could see that. Ryan, McCuba needs to go back to drinking tea. Oh, boy, he was crazy. President Trump, please bring back the 4th of July military parade. Yes, I can tell you, World Peace, that he indeed is doing that. It's going to be a huge, huge parade. Thank you, Claire Butterfield. America's prevailing because of President Trump. Yep. Yep. Some of you guys are talking about that guy from England. It doesn't make any sense. Miss Marino, I want a Tesla, just can't afford it yet. They're good cars. Yeah. Let me see the next page. Am I near the end here? Okay. Barry, can I get the email to contact Ashley? Sure. That is showmail, and one of the mods can please put it in. Showmail at fanfareshop.org. Show, SHOWMAIL, showmail at fanfareshop.org. Let me see here. Thanks so much, Barry. I couldn't wait to get home. You're incredible. Tell Robin she is lucky. She has a very intelligent husband. I always tell her that. I always tell her she's lucky. I hope she's not still awake. She'll come running in here. Rock and Roll Glemmy opened up for Molly Hatchet in the 90s. Oh, really? Where? Tell me where you opened up for him. I did a whole bunch of shows with him. I mean, all of them in Florida. But Molly Hatchet, love that band. I'll tell you a story about them one day. When everybody's not sitting here getting bored, I'll tell you a story about Molly Hatchet. Robert Husbands, these people don't get to live in my head. Ignore it. Live them no airtime. Yeah. Born on the 4th, we work 1/3 of each year just to pay taxes. just for them to steal it, absolutely steal it. I had that in a Shop for 9. I had that in a license plate frame. F you, I don't want you to do what you tell me. Yeah, I had the wrong song. It was Killing in the Name of. Killing in the Name of. Even Bill Maher said that removing the IG was good because they were not doing their job. They have no message. No, there is no. I think you guys really have to understand. They don't have anything. Nothing. Nothing do they have a comeback. And they're losing people because people can see that they don't have a comeback. That you're just lying. I mean, how sad is that? You're just lying to people, and everyone can see that you're lying. So it's crazy. Greg Yergan, bless you and your family. God bless us all. Yes, same here. Shanta Hanasana. We must understand all the agency work for the deep state, not the president. That's why we have corrupt everywhere. And pray for President Trump, because I don't think they're done. I think they know they're screwed. But although J.D. Vance looks like he could be me, but I would hate to see something happen and throw our country into that kind of chaos. Jonathan Adams, she sounds angry. Someone give that a Snickers. Talking about Letitia James. Oh, yeah. Jose Bazil. Nessun dormant to the second power. It's not pishy. It's tick, tick, boom. Imagine doing everything you could do to go after Trump, only to find it pointed right back at you. It's coming. Eddie Murphy likes big bucks, and so does Jamie Raskin. Jose Bazil again. James Carville and his bowl of mice. Imagine somebody like Jim. Think about somebody like Jim Carville, who's spent his entire life working for the Democrat Party, and he's got no answers. Mr. Mike, the pastor at the beginning of your show sounded like a cat coughing up a hairball. Glad to see you back. Oh, that was so disgusting. I couldn't even imagine going to a church like that. Robert Husband, still get my vet services. Yes, nothing has been cut off. Not that I know of. I mean, so they're looking at things very. One of the things I thought I didn't hear anyone say. Listen to this. These judges that were forcing or wanted Trump to keep paying. And I thought to myself, that could be problematic, and they don't even realize it. Because you want to keep paying people. Yes, even though you know some of them are terrorists and fraudulent and everything else. But now, since we know and can track where the money's going, you're going to expose the bad people. You mean before nobody was looking. Now it's like, okay, so you want us to send this money to this account. This account that we are now watching. And so as soon as that money hits that account, before nobody was watching. Now people are watching. Oh, it went to this account. Now what happens with it? Careful what you ask for. Careful what you ask for. Because now they're watching these accounts. That to me was something nobody's talking about. Because once it hits those accounts, people are going to have to figure out where that money went. And good gosh, I would not want to know that. Joe, the street preacher, that preacher was a false prophet because it's God Almighty that put Trump in office. Barry Channel is the best. Thank you very much for the kind words. Just let that simmer in your mind a little bit. Now that they're looking at these transfers, the mere fact that it's going out, they're looking to see where it goes. I wouldn't want to be on the other end, the receiving end of that. Rock and Roll Glemmy, Wright City, Missouri. Okay. Very good band, by the way. Mega Man, for Trump and his team, may God faces shine upon you. May Jesus walk with and guide you, and may the Holy Spirit dwell in your hearts. In the name of Jesus. Thank you. Leah Nora, suggestion, display the good book every now and then. Okay. We got them. Yeah. Thank you. Heather Rodriguez, thank you for having a show tonight. I can't go a day without your shows. You're the one to go to the right info. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes, Ken, I'm getting them from Ashley, so yes, I will. Tommy Radcliffe, I understand copyright. Glad you liked it. Yeah. See, and so I can share it on X, but I can't share it here, unfortunately. I wish there was a way you could buy, as a channel, you could buy an ASCAP license so you could play what you want, almost like a radio station. I would do that in a heartbeat, LL Music TV, BC, salute, respect to you. Thank you very much. I would do that in a heartbeat to be able to play tunes. My playlist is so eclectic, and Mel Porter thing. I think some of you would love to hear my playlist. Love it. The other day I said Slayer. I meant to say Striper, and somebody, I was corrected. And Tommy says, thanks for liking my video. It's not just your video, it's videos. I like what you're putting out, bro. You're putting out some good stuff. So it's Saturday night. I hadn't planned on playing the after party chat, but if you guys want me to, I will put it on. So you're gonna get the regular outro, and then right after the regular outro, I'm gonna turn on the after party chat, and you guys can hang out. And if you don't hang out, if I see it dwindle down to nothing, I'll turn it off. But as long as you guys are hanging out, I'll leave it on for that 30-minute period. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Bye.